Good morning, GraceHill. Brad preached from Galatians 4, verse 21 to 31 on Sunday. And in this passage, Paul concludes his teaching on God's covenants with Old Testament Israel and Abraham. The main purpose of this letter was to show that the message of salvation that was being preached by false teachers in the churches of Galatia was a false gospel and contradicted the scriptures. The false teachers, known as Judaizers, were teaching these churches that in order to have a right relationship with God, people not only had to trust in Christ, but also they had to observe the Old Testament law for Israel. They were saying that in order to be a spiritual descendant of Abraham and a child of God, one had to become a Jew by observing this law. In this passage we're considering, Paul ends his whole correction of the false teaching with a climatic illustration of the contrast between the law of Moses and the new covenant that God has established to bring about the final fulfillment of the Abrahamic covenant. This passage is one of the most important in the entire Bible, since it illustrates some of the most important elements of the Bible's storyline in a way that can easily be understood and remembered. As we know, Abraham had two children. The first was by a human effort. God had promised Abraham he would give him a son, and Sarah had decided that they would take the law into their own hands, and so to speak, and to bring it about. And so Hagar gave birth to Ishmael. And Paul explains the contrast that Hagar represented the law, and Sarah, who God had fulfilled his promise through with the birth of Isaac, represented the covenant, the new covenant for us. How often do we not believe the promises given to us by God? God is not a man that he should lie. And he brought about and fulfilled the promises to Abraham through the birth of Isaac. We cannot follow the law and follow Christ. Christ came to fulfill the law. And that is the most important thing that we can hold on to as Christians, that we don't have to follow a set of rules and regulations. We follow Jesus and all that he taught. And I just pray that as we study the word in a deeper sense, that we would understand and grow closer to Christ and know that the law can never save. It is only through the work of the cross and what Christ did for us. I pray that you'd have a wonderful week ahead.